Today I'm going to demonstrate on how to do a chalk pastel drawing. The materials we will be using are black paper, and this is optional. If you don't have black paper, white paper will do as well. Chalk pastel, glue, black ink, and fixative. First, draw your idea. I have decided to draw a face for my drawing, but this works just as well with animals, fish, or anything else. Once I got my general idea down, I break it up into sections. I try to use geometrical shapes, patterns, and designs. Fill up the entire area with pattern, shapes, and design. This will make the final product more aesthetically pleasing. On my drawing, I will break up the face in designs, but I will try not to repeat the same designs on both sides of the face. I will then follow this through on the neck, arms, as well as the background. Once you have your drawing done, it is time to prepare the glue. But first I take a bottle of glue. I recommend using a half a bottle of glue. You do not need to use a whole bottle of glue. I then take my ink and pour about 1 to 2 ounces of ink into the glue bottle. You don't have to measure it. If you don't have a measuring cup, you could just estimate it. Once that is done, you need to shake it vigorously so that the glue mixes well with the ink, creating a black glue. After that, the best way to make sure that it's been shaken well is to go ahead and take a piece of paper and with the bottle, squeeze a little bit out in a straight line to make sure that it comes out black. If it does, you're ready to begin. If it doesn't, go ahead and mix it well. If you don't think you have enough black ink in there, you could always add a little bit more and shake it vigorously again. Now that your glue and ink mixture is completed, it is time to outline your drawing. I usually like starting from the top and work my way down. In this way, you will prevent any chances of smudging your paper with the glue and ink. On the off chance you do smudge your paper or you drip glue somewhere unwanted, take the paper towel and just wipe it off. Try to make your lines thick enough to create a border, but not too thick that it looks too heavy. Go back to any place you feel the glue line was too thin and reapply. It is best to test all the glue areas by touch if you're unsure if it's dry or not. You want your drawing to be completely dry before moving on to the next step. Now that your drawing is completely dry, we can begin coloring with the chalk pastels. I'm now going to use my chalk pastels to create a very colorful drawing. It is best to try to use colors that are analogous with one another. This means that they are next to each other on the color wheel. So I'll start with the yellow and move to orange and try to slightly blend them in with my chalk as I move to the red. I like to recommend using the same chalk when blending them in together. Use one color chalk and slightly go into the area you're trying to blend in and back to its original area. Do this several times, and after that, go ahead and switch to the other color and do the same thing. Eventually, you will have created a gradual blending of colors where they meet at. Many of my students like to blend the chalk in with their fingers, but I'd like to discourage this because using your finger or a paper towel will dilute the colors, making it look dull. I try to continue to build on the analogous color, but it's not the final rule of thumb. I'll transition from my colors from yellow to greens to blues as in the color wheel. As you move along with your drawing, you will make the decisions of what color combinations you will want to use. Feel free to use as many colors as you like. I like to use most of the colors in my chalk pastel box. Another good way to add colors could be by creating patterns with your color. Once again, I want to emphasize there is no wrong or right way of doing this. These are just suggestions. Even though I do emphasize using analogous colors for the specific purpose of blending the colors, I also like using complementary colors so that they can stand out next to one another. You could change colors to complementary colors or anything you desire if it suits your drawing. On the lips, I'm using the complementary colors of red and blue. Another way to color your design is by possibly adding some cool colors to one side and warm colors to the other side, and somehow working that into your design process. On one side of my hair, I will start with my cool blues and gradually work it down into my warm yellows. This is done by starting with blues and working it into the greens and then the greens into the yellow. When using white, you could leave the white on its own or you could blend it in with another color. I'm going to take my light blue pastel chalk and blend it into my white. Don't worry if the black borders are getting faded or lost among the chalk pastels, because in the end we will retrace them. You want your background to be as interesting as your image, so go ahead and get colorful with the background as well. Once you have finished coloring your drawing with the chalk pastel, it's time to add small details. I use a black chalk pastels to create details, and I try to add either geometrical shapes, patterns, or marks such as lines, dots, X's, or images. In some areas like the hair, I will add dashes following the flow of the hair. Above the face, in the large red area, I will add raindrop shape images. I want to add an image to the center of the dress, so I'm going to add a little fishy, but you could add just about anything you want. A sun, a star, a heart, an animal, anything you like really, that's up to you. You could even try to make patterns inside your patterns. I'm going to add geometrical circle shapes to the circles of the dress and pluses to the square geometrical areas of the dress. Then I'll add diagonal lines to the geometrical area of the dress. As I move to the face, I will draw a teardrop and dots to one side of her face. I do not want to always repeat the details to the other side of the face. As you move along on your drawing, you will find out where you want to add small details and where you do not want to add any. It eventually becomes a balance to add in some areas and not in the other areas. Continue to add details, but also leave some areas without any details. In addition, this is also a good time to use the black chalk pastels to outline your original black glue lines, emphasizing the lines more so you create a bolder outline. Once you are done, it is time to prevent the chalk from smudging. I like to use fixative on my chalk drawings to protect it as much as possible from smudging. When using fixative spray, you need to use it in a well-ventilated area. I usually take my drawing outside to spray them. I also recommend reading the directions before you begin. Make sure to cover the entire paper with fixative and allow the necessary time recommended to dry. If you like this video, please give it a like down below and subscribe to see more video demonstrations by Art Connection.